Hodl, 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 save, 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 build a, build a, build a, sound money, sound money. This is Ugly Old Goat,
Hey
and
guys,
and this is
I'm a bit
Stefan.
busy.
He gets to step out of this and goes, I'm going to be part of this conversation, but I have a really great surprise today, and this could go on a long time,
Probably
and
will.
it will should be a lot of fun. I do want to kind of explain one thing because save,
Whoa,
you
whoa.
guys save,
My
build
bad.
a, build a, build a,
Okay.
sound money,
Yeah, we're getting some
sound
feedback
money.
there.
This is
All
Ugly
right.
Old Goat,
Hey guys,
and this is
I'm a bit
Stefan.
busy.
All right. So let me go back to where I was going. Oh, I know. One of the things I want to emphasize to members, what I am trying to do is build a colloquy, and that is not just coming here to Ensenada to see what we're doing down here, but also a colloquy between our guests and members. And so uh, I have a special guest here, and his name is Michael Friedman. And some time ago, well, my hodl as my saving program was two things I've adopted. Of course, the goat lady comes first, and then I started uh, racing these buggies. And the other thing I wanted to do, and I started doing, is purchasing some of the old gold and silver and platinum coins that I minted way back there, beginning in 1979 and through the 80s. And so I got on. Oh, I got on. Well, I'm going to introduce my guest first because I think I already outlined where I want to go with the program. So Mike, this is your first show, but I hope you're a steady guest, and anytime you want to get in on the conversation, you're welcome to, because you're a complimentary member and of our group now, and so I hope you can participate on the Telegram group. You're going to be able to provide insights. You're going to pull some things out of me that nobody else can pull because it's already tugging my heart. So now, all that's said and done, I want to introduce Michael Friedman. I'm going to let you tell the story because you actually tell it better than I do because you know what happened and why we're meeting today. And you probably know, I know you know a lot about some hard parts in my life. And, I think that you're going to be able to bring out some things from me that I would not otherwise be able to bring out on my own. So, my first question is, why in the world did you start collecting my coins? I think it's a very, but that, and I have a second question. Are you also purchasing other private minted coins from that era?
Okay, well, first of all, thank you for letting me be here today. It's a privilege, because I mean I have been a fan of the Gold Standard Corporation and interested in the story for many years now. So I guess to begin, and I have notes off to the side here, so that's why I might be looking off to the side. I'm a collector of art. If I see something beautiful and it's not beyond my means, I purchase it. But I'm also an investor in precious metals. So for me, it became a beautiful marriage of investing in gold, but also collecting gold that is art. What I really call coins, rounds. It doesn't have to be rounds, doesn't have to be coins, but I call it art on a gold canvas. And so I'm not a person that needs to, own everything of a series or everything from issued by a particular country or a particular minter. But I buy the pieces that are beautiful, that I find beautiful. And the beauty doesn't just have to be, beauty can be lots of things. It can be a pastoral scene. It can be a portrait. Some art paintings just have words on them. So quite a few years ago, I was just looking through, I'm always searching for just interesting items, gold items. And I came across the Gold Standard Corporation, the original series, which is called the gold standard. What did I write down here? The gold standard series, gold standard units, the Edward C. Harwood piece. And it had a beautiful proof finish with this just stunning frosted foreground of Harwood's face. And then on top of it, this wonderful slogan. Just hit me, just struck at me, and I can put this up for you. It says, if anyone can see that, look at that beautiful, it's hard to tell. Look at that. You see the mirror finish and the beautiful foreground? And I don't know if you can see it, but it says...
I'm going to share something because you're bringing back some stuff to me, and I may not remember
Sure.
this later on, but I want to just throw this out.
Sure.
Because you started talking about art, and I want to describe, there was a lot of art that went into that, and I really appreciate you saw that. And I just remembered, because I may not remember this, it just came to me. Yeah, who was the artist? It was Richard Ailes in Canada.
Richard Ailes.
You know him? Are you familiar
Yes.
with him?
That name
Yes.
rings a weird bell.
Yeah. Yeah, he did that. And then the G, which I saw, we actually spent months on that. I had all I could do is, I'm not an artist, so I said, look, I want a gold with a dollar sign, but it's got to be, and it was Carmilla Cooper who did that, and then as far as the minting, yeah, I used the best minter which was Roger Williams Mint. I actually was using Engelhard for my gold and silver ingots. And there's a lot of stories to that too, but I don't want to go into that now. But I wanted
you can see the RWM.
Yeah,
it's right there down in the bottom right hand.
Yeah,
corner.
and I told them to put it on there. They said, we don't have to. No, I said, no. I want them known who I hired because your work is outstanding.
These are, like I said, what I didn't know the Gold Standard Corporation was, but I saw this beautiful round. It just boom, just hit me like a champagne bottle on the head. And then you add in the slogans, I don't know if you want to call it hard money slogan, whatever you want to call it, free market economy slogan. For integrity, there is no substitute. And I was hook, line, and sinker. That was it. From that moment on, I went on to try to purchase every Gold Standard Corporation piece that I could find. And not just that, to find all the information I could on the company, and to find out all the information I possibly could on the medallions themselves. So and again, I just ever jump in wherever you want to here.
There's so many thoughts. I want to get back to where we were prior to when we got live here. When we were setting up, we had about 30 minutes together, and I was almost in tears. So, like I said, I didn't want to go too far too fast, but I'm willing. I want to get it out there. Let me just kind of. I wanted an answer to my second question. Are you collecting other private mintage pieces or just Gold Standard Corporation pieces? What?
I collect any piece, whether it's a round or from a mint, a government mint, that I find to be art that I appreciate, that's on a gold canvas, or for that matter, on a platinum canvas.
No, but there were other. I'm thinking particularly like Bernard von Nothaus. He was one of my.
I have now. Honestly, you and I can really get into this because I have all the Royal Hawaiian Mint pieces.
Oh, great.
Every set, every piece that they ever did.
Well, I've been trying to get. I want to get my friend Bernard on the show, and I've had a hard time scheduling it. So maybe when he sees this and I can send it to him, I think he's kind of busy trying to do another project.
Alignment pieces remind me so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
That remind me so much
and
of
I
the
want to
Gold
get
Standard
him on, but
Corporation.
I don't want to go into his new project. I want to go into what
the Liberty Dollar?
Yeah, and he says he just doesn't have time for it. So maybe he'll do this, and I'm open. I've tried to open it up for him, but I said, just let me know when you're ready, and maybe when he'll see this, we can have him on, because I think he has played a very important role in this.
Yes.
And so that's what I'm here for. And I said, yeah, he can certainly promote what he's doing, but that's not the primary. I'm not promoting, when I'm talking about you now, I'm not, I guess I know, I'm not, that's kind of history, but I'm doing it, gosh.
Well, I'm
just telling my life story, and, what I did, I can't,
from my perspective, I think you were both persecuted.
So I can't get away from it. This is what I did, rightly or wrongly, and we learn more from our failures than we do from our success, and so right now Bitcoin is very successful, but that also means we have some big challenges ahead. So, like I say, I'm not sure. As long as I'm here and I'm healthy, I want to contribute what I can contribute. And I do think that there's a lot to be learned from the messages on these coins, and why I'm here.
I agree.
Why I'm one of the few that, I didn't. Once I looked at Bitcoin, my son was trying to get. I was there. I just never dug into it enough to figure it out. And until August of
2013.
Yeah, 2013. So, and then the rest is kind of history, and I felt like, because I'm so influenced by Harwood, I said, okay, if I'm going to do this, I have to be transparent and publish everything that I trade. And so that was one of the things I did. I told everybody I was doing this, that I was buying all my old coins. And I also said, once I get them, I said, I'll make it public. So I guess in that sense, I'm what is that? This is my shit coin. and because I do believe that there's a tremendous collector value in these things.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a story behind all of it. So I bought everything I could. And when I met this guy, I just said, whatever you have. I said, I know you're a collector. And I said, you should be rewarded for that collection. But anything extra you have, I'll take.
Do you want to show it off?
Yeah, well, we can.
I'm
but
very
got a
connected.
Story about it. Tell that story, because I bought the first one that I bought was from you too, right?
Right, but let me mention. Oh, there you go. I had lost your video feed there. Now I can see you again.
Okay. All right. So you tell this story. Yeah. We could go on, and we're going to get into some deep crap, but we're going to have fun doing it. But like I say, Mike's going to be able to go places nobody else can go with.
Right.
One thing I want to say
more
is
about me than probably anybody, and you don't have to call me ugly. You can call me Conrad. Okay, that'd be fine too.
That's a privilege not many people get.
Now,
or Killer,
some people that call
Killer
very
Bee.
few can call me Big Bird, and a few others can call me Bumblebee. But
Bumblebee, not Killer Bee, Bumblebee. That's the one I would choose. But okay, a couple of things. First of all, I think you and Mr. Nothouse have a lot in common. From my view, right or wrongly, I view you as both being persecuted for trying to change the monetary system in your own way, trying to bring back hard money from purely fiat.
I consider myself persecuted. I do think that Bernard was. So he was.
Mine
was a different form. Bernard succeeded in a lot of ways that I didn't, and so and I take my hat off to him. And he's he's always been a man of integrity. The only reason he brought to me way back in 2004 or something, he came by, and I'll never forget that. I should have brought it, but I have the Gold Standard Corporation pamphlet. I don't know if you have one of those or not. Do you have one?
Only the PDFs of
Okay, I
them,
have one.
photos
He
of them.
brought that to me, and I thanked him so much. So I have one. In fact, it's back there. I can probably pull it out. But I have one of those. So it's really important to me that I have that. And we talked, and I wanted to say, you're going to get in trouble because you call it the dollar. And he never
Right.
thought,
Right.
I don't think he would have ever been bothered if he'd just not called it the dollar.
Right.
But he,
But that was the point of it, I think.
right.
It?
That was right. And mine was essentially, but I don't blame anyone but myself. I was young and stupid, but would I do it again? When I make the same mistakes, you always wonder. And I do know that, there can be a structure that's there, and nothing's going to last forever, in this world at least. But, like I got the domain name of Bitcoin Standard Corporation. I couldn't believe that it was even available. And, should we go there? I'm not big enough for the task.
Right.
I'm not
It's a big
enough.
job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And, but it's no less an ideal. It's nothing that we shouldn't work and strive for. And, the people that I met in the Bitcoin community, wow, I'm amazed. I was so amazed at how far the popularity of the Austrian School of Economics had come. It's a lot of the debates are still there, but you don't seem to understand how few of us there were back there in the 70s and 80s. It's not like it is now. You guys have a huge task ahead of you, and that's when I'm just here a little way that I can to pass on the torch. That's why I think it's important to build tradition. That's why this isn't done haphazardly. This wasn't done haphazardly, and what we're doing now with Bitcoin, I've made lots of mistakes.
Well, let's talk about Conrad Braun as the artist for a few minutes.
All right, that'd be easy to do.
All right. So the first thing I want
to
to mention is you asked me a question of who else that, as far as rounds that I collect, and I don't know if do you know Daniel Carr? He brought the Gruber presses from the Denver Mint and creates beautiful rounds.
Wow.
Just do a Google search. Look, they're stunning. But okay, let's just talk about.
We need to put that. What's the name again? Because it's not in my head.
Daniel Carr, Carr.
Can we put a link on that? We can look at it now so people.
Moonlight Mint.
Okay.
Beautiful pieces there. But okay, so I'm going to talk about your artwork, if you don't mind. So you obviously are a big fan of Ed Harwood.
E.C.
And your
Harwood. Right, everybody called him E.C.
1 ounce piece.
Colonel Harwood.
So,
called him Pearl.
For your followers that might find this interesting. So, and you will know this, so they were minted from 1979 to 1985. Maybe a few thousand in 1975, but in 1979, but the 1985s, my mintages are showing 30, 40 total pieces.
Yeah. They're
By the
really
way, I have
rare. Oh.
Really rare.
Yeah. These are really, really rare pieces. Guys, it's collectors. It really is. And the thing is, there's a story behind it, too. It's not just blank. It's not a bullion. It was bullion, but with a mission. Okay, and the mission was sound money. That was the mission. So, okay.
But it just shows your appreciation for Harwood, because your followers and people collecting these coins might not know this, because they might notice something that in 1979 and 1980, well, let's put it this way. From 1981 to 1985, the pieces say Edward C. Harwood. But from 1979 and 1980, the pieces actually say Director Emeritus.
Yeah,
and
instead of
not
sound
Harwood.
commercial banking, yes.
Right, because indeed Harwood was the head of the American Institute of Economic Research.
Exactly.
So, to tell you the truth, I still have to find myself a Harwood piece with Director Emeritus on it, because I don't have, even though those are the ones the most were minted of, I do not have one of those. So,
Oh, no, you'll find them because there are a lot of those. Well, maybe not. You know what? And that's one of the things I need to do is I need to become I have to go. I was going to do that. I want to become a part of American Institute again, but I never was a contributing member, so I want to do that because that's one of the models I'm trying to set up. I think that's one way we can kind of spearhead. And the funny thing is, a lot of people in America, it's kind of become an institute now, and people have forgotten what he wrote. And like one of the guys he says, "Well, I didn't even know he wrote that." And I go, "Yeah, that's what he." And the thing about Harwood, he wasn't an ivory tower guy. He was, he was an engineer for Army Corps of Engineers. He built stuff. He was a man's man. He was blue collar, self-taught economist, Ted Warren guy, but with MIT
Credentials.
Yeah, it just so you kind of have to, and West Point. I think it was West Point too. But anyway, so he didn't he was never this, and he was self-made. I mean, he built this institute, and it's almost you go there and it was kind of almost a military installation. You can see the strong military stuff behind it, but they've continued in their work. They've got a lot of good contributors in there, and so to resurrect, because a lot of the old names back there, I learned as much from them by example as I did from what they wrote. And E.C. Harwood he lived a life, not a perfect one, but I couldn't help but admire him. And that's when I asked him. The first year I said, okay, we put this one at the American Institute, and it was a success because all the Institute members bought one. But then I started, but that's really not what I wanted to do. What I was doing was, what, I said, I want to put a coin, I said, I want to do this the next year, but I want the sound commercial banking on it. Right. I said, what do I put on the other side? What do I need to put on the, and he says, well, for integrity, there is no substitute. I said, wow, that was it. Yeah. Yeah, so there was a lot that went into that G, okay? And I trademarked it and everything. You guys can have the trademark. I don't care about that. don't even know if I can claim it or anything. But I've changed my mind on a lot of different things. And there's a history to all this stuff, and we can go into that. Like there's a history. We need to get Ron Paul on to do the thing with the prototype and have him get on and talk. I think maybe maybe we can get connected. Ron knows me well, or knows me a little bit. Gee, I'm sure you remember. I'm kind of unforgettable once you know me. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So
did you put Harwood as the 1 ounce coin because he was like, let's say, highest on your list of your?
Yeah, he was. It was very appropriate. And definitely number 2. Was Hayek, okay, and
see that's what I'm saying. So you put on the 1 ounce, you put Harwood. On the half ounce, you put Hayek.
Yeah, and then number 3 was Henry Hazlitt. Unfortunately, I didn't get a good picture of him because when he was a handsome man, and he said, I just said I don't have any. I said, he didn't like it, and I can understand because it was an image of him he was a. He was in his late 80s. He was in the end of the retirement home, and he said, "Man, I said, yeah, that's all I got." So that's what and I just linked to him because he was the one for free market between Murray Rothbard and Hayek and Friedman and all these guys, and and it's still going on today. And I've been writing more and more about that. But there's still a big debate in the community about fractional reserve standard. And I don't think Harwood, his sound commercial banking was actually fully backed. There was no set reserve. And once you set a reserve, then it can be inflated. The whole thing is that it emerged out of the marketplace with no reserve.
Right.
But they figured out, the reserve is the new production coming into the marketplace, and it was self-regulating.
Right.
It's really not that hard. It's just, but we got to fix it. And that's where the argument came, because and the way one of my other heroes, like John Robbins, started, Murray Rothbard's coming from an Aristotelian point of view. And so that's why he could never let go of having 100% gold standard. In other words, if the gold wasn't there, you can't issue the currency. And that's just not the way, that was before we had civil. Yeah, if you're in a primitive society, that's fine. But to sustain, the advanced society that we have now, you need to have, what happened is it was the innovation of the 19th century. It was the marketplace that actually increased and decreased the money supply through the marketplace. And I think we are going to have to relearn that. And I'm not a purist in the sense that I think we're going to get rid of nations. That's just impractical. I'm opposed to the SEC. I think it should be abolished as a Federal Reserve, as well as the Federal Reserve. But you know what? I'm not going to live to see that. Now that might be something that Stephen here and Juan can accomplish, and maybe Jimmy Song, you guys, I don't know. That's up to you. That's not my problem. All I can do.
We're going kind of sideways, but I want to just on this topic, because we can go so many different directions. I have to ask you this
I know
question,
we can.
But I want to ask you this question though. So you say 100% reserve or a fractional reserve versus the money supply, but at some price for the reserve, it could equal the value of the money supply, right? The gold reserve just doesn't equal the money supply now, because gold is undervalued versus the money supply.
It reflects the marketplace's estimate of the value of things and services, including the standard, whether that standard. Now, the standard could be gold. That was the innovation. Innovation was not gold. The innovation was the Bitcoin standard, okay? That was the innovation.
Right.
Now, we do have a new innovation now, because Bitcoin, I think, is just as the Bitcoin or gold standard was innovation in the 19th century. We have something now that governments cannot control unless we hand it to them. That puts us in a real strong driving position. And so now we can choose jurisdictions. And, hopefully my country, which I still love, the way I put it, I love my country, I love our Constitution, but I despise my government. And I'm sorry, I see no hope right now in the near term that's going to be a battle that I'm going to want to fight or win, at least from the United States. I want to fight it from a place where I have a chance to win. And we may not win, but at least I feel a lot safer here in the Baja than I do, when I'm in the United States. And one of my goals is, I'm not going to give up my citizenship. I'll be a U.S. citizen, but I'm going to be a U.S. citizen here in Mexico, and just make it that much harder for them, to do. And I want to get dual citizenship. So you know what? If it's not up to them. If I give up my citizenship, I'm just not there anymore. I'm Mexican, and you guys, okay, if I'm in your jurisdiction, say I'm there, but I want to have a foot in both places. I love my country. I kind of like, am I like Moses in the wilderness? Am I like Joseph and Mary in Egypt? What is this? And all I want is a peaceful life. What people are waking up to now, I've known and literally experienced it. There is no due process, guys. the government is thoroughly corrupt. Don't give me this conservative ideology. You know, you hear from Sean Hannity, it was just the top guys at the FBI that are corrupt. Look, it's corrupt through and through. All police forces are, okay? Now, there's lesser and greater degrees, but the policemen lie in courts. You know, prosecutors retaliate against testimony. You know, we do all kinds of nasty things right now. There is no due process. There's, you know, it's all mainly pleas without trials. The trial process also limits prosecutions, which is a good thing. And so, you know, you know, I hope I'm wrong, but right now, you know, my recommendation to people, if you're in the United States and you're a U.S. citizen and all your wealth is tied up in your home and your retirement account, you got big problems. You need to reduce that. And, you know, I would put, you know, 15% of your total wealth should be in Bitcoin, and you should have enough gold and silver in your whatever jurisdiction you're in. And you don't want to be stuck, because I do see an exit problem coming from, I think in the very near future, United States citizens are going to be restricted from leaving. They've already got the kiosks at the border. And you're not going to be able to freely come into Mexico. You're going to have to do some kind of a check. What that's going to do, I don't know, but it's coming.
Let me ask you this question, though. I mean, you know, a portfolio, absolutely, you know, diversification, Bitcoin, precious metals. But I just want to ask you this. So, you know, you said, so the institution that issues the fiat currency, money supply, they own that same entity so that's a liability. On the asset side of the balance sheet, that's these authorities that issue the fiat currency.
Well, they're not authorities.
They're actually gold, right?
They're banks. Now, they're only an authority in the sense that if you have to be licensed or chartered, that's what chartered banks were. Whenever you got a charter, whenever you have a license, you're given this, but you got to operate it under the rules. They get their cut.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, if you're going to operate in the U.S. jurisdiction, hey, you have to pay. I pay my taxes. I still pay my taxes, even though I pay my taxes every year in the United States. Okay, and I'm not, so that's jurisdictional issues. You're rendering to Caesar what Caesar's. But now we have a way that we can protect ourselves. Now, they may claim that and I'm sure, and you're in our jurisdiction. Well, okay, good luck. I don't even have access to it. So the thing is, it's just, it's allowing, the wise, prudent man a freedom that was not available before Bitcoin. And so I think, hopefully, my view is, we're going to become, we need to have integrity, because we need to be the shining light. We need to say, yeah, we know what we want more of this. I mean, I want Mexico to say, you know what? Yeah, let's be the center of Bitcoin and not the drug cartels, or let's be a and they can, and they get it, and I love Mexico because it's got a history and a way. It's different, and you can combine the best of cultures. That's what's happened, and to me, living here in Mexico was like growing up in the United States in the 1950s. That's the way I view it.
It does feel like the best of both worlds.
Yeah, it does. So that's the way I view it. So anyway, so that's where I'm at.
Okay, so I did want to, I'll tell you, there's some interesting points here, and I want to get back to the story of how we got together, but let me mention something to the followers, and I'm sure you remember this, but this is very important. So there were two series of Gold Standard Corporation coins. The regular series, the Gold Standard series, that you have displayed on your table there, they're easier to find. But there was another series, the interchangeable series, which is very difficult to find. But there's something I need to tell all the followers, and I'm sure you remember this, that's very different and interesting. First of all, let's say the hardwood, the 1 ounce piece, okay? It's an alloy, so it's 9/10 pure, it's got 10% alloy of silver, but there's 1 troy ounce of gold in it. So the coin actually weighs roughly 1.10 ounces. Okay.
Yeah, there's actually a little copper in there too, silver and copper. It's the same alloy that they
Right.
use in the United States coinage because it makes it more. It's a more durable coinage.
Harder, right? Durable.
Yeah.
But this is the interesting part. that
Harder to
people
make,
don't realize.
much harder to make, much more expensive to make.
So in the interchangeable series, though, and this is where people actually get screwed, honestly. The 1 ounce Milton Friedman piece weighs 1 ounce
Right.
in total,
Yes.
and it's 0.9 fine.
It
So
contains
in that piece,
an
there's
avocat-
only 9/10 of an ounce of gold.
Actually, we'll hear what it is. It is 1 troy ounce, but the gold content is an avocat ounce.
Right.
So that was the way it
interesting.
was designed. Okay.
That's interesting.
Right.
Because what people are buying these things, though, like, for example, the only Series 2 piece, that interchangeable series piece that you can find is the 10th of an ounce, the 10th piece Courier. And it's trading and it sells for like it's a 10th of an ounce of gold, but it's not a 10th of an ounce of gold. In fact, the Courier piece only is 80% fine. So for the people out there that are buying these, they have to realize that in this interchangeable series, that there's not a full ounce or half ounce or a quarter ounce or 10th or 20th of an ounce of gold. It's only a fraction of that. In fact, people on eBay, etc., are paying too much for the interchangeable series because they think that there's 1 ounce of gold in there or a half ounce of gold or a quarter ounce of gold, and there's not. It's significantly less.
Yeah. Well, let me go in there. I'm trying to find my sheet that Bernard von Nothoff gave me because Bernard, I really appreciate that. And I hope you come on with this because I think it's important. He's got his other project but I told him, look, it's really important that we document because we were the pioneers in this, and your coins, all these private mintages, particularly not those that were just, they're bullions and metals and they promoted them, but those people that were really, truly trying to change the monetary system. I think those are the ones that can be remembered. Say you're collectors too. Are those old private mintages from California? Have their numismatic value continued to rise? I know way back in the day in the 70s, it was one of those private coinage that had gotten to over $1 million. It was a record sale for a coin at the time.
Are you talking about the rarities mint issues?
Like
from the rarities mint in California from like the mid 80s and 90s?
No, I'm talking about the California Gold Rush coins.
No, I don't actually collect those, but
look, I got it.
States.
Look, there it is.
Go. That's the real one. I just have a picture of it.
Got me. There we go. I got the whole thing. There they are. So there we go. That was so good.
Oh, does that one? That one's got the mintages. That's got the mintages too, right?
Yeah, the picture. It has all the pictures. I don't know if it has. It doesn't have it just shows pictures of the different series. Because I also did this Pioneer. Right. I was going to go interchangeable Pioneer, and all we had was proofs. We did strike this one.
There was also a testimonial series, proof series, I think. I heard, I've never seen one, but there was a series called the testimonial series, and it said instead of for gold, for integrity, there is no substitute, it said for Christ, there is no substitute.
That
Did you
one we
do
did
that?
too. Yep, that's mine. I did that one. I don't know if it was appropriate. Like I said, some of these things I want to talk about because, you change your minds on this. Like this one was actually there was legislation. I don't know if you have that legislation that was written by Ron Paul. I'll have to go look it up. Yes.
I wouldn't sell it to you unless I had one for myself.
I know, but I appreciate you selling me your extra. Guys, if you want to do a hobby, if you go to the coin shows, and whenever you see one of my, buy them because I think they're going up in price. I mean, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm, like I say, I'm going to be able to document what was really going on to the best of my ability, without, and. Oh yeah, so here we go. Here's what he's all this. I think I guess it's silver. I must have got somewhere else. Whenever I find them online, I'll buy them. So this is everything that I got.
Pinehurst coins.
Okay, different thing. I don't even open that one yet. But and then I
the silver ones are always around.
What?
The silver ones are always around.
Okay. Yeah, there's hundreds of thousands of those out there. Maybe a million. I don't know. A lot. So, yeah, and then you sent me 2 platinum.
Yeah.
And so people that don't know, we'll just describe the difference between, here's a Hayek piece.
That's a beautiful piece.
Yeah.
I mean, and
It really is.
He looks so happy. You give him a big smile on his face. Look at him. He's so... Yeah. It's my favorite one.
Yeah, I think Ailes did that one too. He was really without a doubt, the best coin artist out there. I think
I love that.
Anything that I didn't do with him, it was disappointing. Now, I wanted to show that people the difference between the frosted finish and the unfrosted. The frosted finish is actually a proof. It's double struck, has a double strike. That's what brings up the frosting. The other one is the BU. Now, interestingly, I sold almost every series. I sold more proofs, particularly in the gold, not silver. But I sold more proofs of platinum and gold than I did BUs. So anytime, if you find a BU without the frost, some of them are extremely rare on the gold.
Oh man!
So you
should have kept that. Should have kept that one.
Well, I don't know. We got to find the sheets to find out the count. I mean, the counts are there. I'm hoping that maybe American Institute filed away my old newsletters, and maybe they have in a deep, dark corner. There's some rotted paper because I put that on the back of my monthly newsletter every month. And I used to type that thing in newsletter out on a word processor. I forgot which company it was, but it was one that's not even around anymore. But man, I set my own type, and designed my own news. It was, At any rate, lots of fun
stuff. The only ones that I've seen, the platinum I've seen in BU and frosted.
Yeah.
Hayek.
That was a mistake to do the platinum, which I'll say that now. I don't think, platinum, it's just not coinage, and that was a mistake. It's, sometimes in your business, you just do things that are, and I'm not even sure the silver was necessary or wise, I think. But, I think it was an experiment back then as it is now. Just hopefully we're going to be a little more careful with our experimenting than I was. So,
well, what about the one that's supposedly in Congress, the $1 trillion platinum coin idea, where and this is where I think the whole gold thing comes in, because supposedly, and I'm not an expert on this, the Congress wanted to pass a law where they would print a coin, a platinum coin specifically, because there's some statutes that you can't do it in gold, and they were going to print like a 1 ounce platinum coin that had a $1 trillion face value, and they deposit that at the treasury, and the deficit goes bye-bye, because now they have a coin that says $1 trillion on it, as an asset versus the liabilities.
I don't think it works quite. I've never heard of that before, and
Oh,
I
you
have
got to
no
check that
idea
out. It's the
I
craziest
think
thing.
that I think that at the end of the day, not much would change. They could have already done it, and nobody would know.
But that's my theory, is that what if they just revalue gold to a level that the reserve, the amount of gold held at, Fort Knox or whatever, times the price equals
right.
the national debt.
Well, I think it's very possible, and I'm probably alone in making that argument because
I was going to say, you echo pretty much what he's been talking
yeah,
about.
I mean
last
that's
couple of
basically
weeks.
what I'm saying. Governments are losing their credibility everywhere, and the first one that wants to get it back, they can get. And Saifedean Amos, he even wrote about it in his book. If you really want to successfully attack Bitcoin, just return the sound money. Go back to the gold standard,
Right.
and it'll completely blow Bitcoin out of the water until. To me, it's a perfect governor. It will blow it out for a while, but then, in other words, it'll be a regulator, a governor for government's behaviors. And as hodlers, it's almost like, what was that user-activated soft fork?
Right,
It's almost that kind of principle, but based on different monies. And Hayek just never saw until, and it took me a while to wrap around my head around it. He never saw a whole bunch of competing standards. He saw one standard emerging, and the innovation is what these cryptographers gave us with Bitcoin. Right. And now it's possible to do. And that is...
Sorry, I have to take a picture of you guys. Hang on. Say cheese.
Go for it.
There you go.
So why are you wearing a mask still? Oh, you have to get your toothpaste. Oh gosh, we don't. I ban masks around here, even although in your case you're ugly enough that probably a mask
Thank
helps.
you.
Oh jeez.
I'm just fitting in with the crowd.
Okay. No, I'm sorry to disrupt your thought. I mean, that would be the easiest thing, right? They print all this money. The national debt is, God knows, 20 trillion, 30 trillion, unfunded liabilities, 100 trillion. Okay. Just take the gold, set an official price of X per ounce, and all of a sudden you artificially just balanced the budget like that. I mean, is that possible?
Well, they could revalue gold. I mean, they'd have to set a price or something like that. If they want to make the gold the dollar, go back to some kind of Bretton Woods thing where a currency is and people argue with me. To me, gold still has its uses as money. I don't think that's going to disappear. I think the very fact that it has utility value. We don't know what's going to be happening, but you can particularly silver coins. Now the gold is once again it's more conditional in trade. But I think by having it on by restoring a gold standard, what you do is you create a sound internal money within that nation, particularly for cash. And I don't have any problem with seigniorage, and that's what basically my interchangeable coinage was based on. It was an idea of seigniorage in a way, because the gold, rather than maybe I should outline a little bit how you make gold coins. Or you want to explain it? Do you
know?
You
go.
Okay.
You made them.
So basically, when you make these gold coins, you roll it into a flat bar. It's not a bar. It's a part they call a pallet. It's not. I can't remember the name of it.
A blanchard. A blanch. No, blanchard.
No, blanchard's the round. But it's just like when you're making cookies. You roll out the flour or the dough, and the thing is, Engelhardt, who made my gold coins, they actually learned the technology from making because they'd lost it. They didn't know how to do it. And they learned how to do it, so they won the contract to mint the planches for the U.S. Mint when the U.S. started minting coins. They admitted we learned how to do this. We got the bid because of the work we did for you. And I paid for those gold coins. But what it boils down to is you're rolling that thing, and at the end, we were doing dead rolls because you've got it's called a machine tolerance. It's 2 or 3%, right. And the larger the coin, the lower the tolerance. So in other words, if you take this tenth of an ounce piece, and you take this is which one? This is Curry. Let's take do I have an Adam Smith in there?
There is one.
Yeah.
I've seen one. Here's Adam Smith.
Okay, so here we have an Adam Smith, and here we have a Harwood. Okay, so
Oh, here. This one.
okay, can you hold them up?
I'll hold
And
it.
then so those are two different sizes, and if you can't see the now here's a Harwood, so you can see how thick it is. Here's one that's not in a case,
There it is.
and there's all
That's a rare one, that one, not Adam Smith.
yeah. There's some
There's
rare
the-
ones here. I know that.
Harwood and Adam Smith.
Yeah. So, and all those the first Adam Smith design was terrible. So, but a lot of those are out there. There's a lot of these ugly Adam Smith coins about that.
That Adam Smith, what says Wealth of Nations, is the rare one. I sold you the rare one.
This is the rare one. Yeah, I know this is very rare. Yes. And all of those are very, very rare. So, but when you make a gold coin, you roll it out, so it's a machine tolerance, and the tolerance on those tenth of an ounce coins, I forgot, it's in this booklet. I described the tolerance, but the tolerance is a lot higher, and the labor cost is basically the same. It costs as much to stamp out a tenth of an ounce, so you got to have that's why they go for a higher premium. I mean,
Right, higher premium.
That's just it. That's the way it works. So what I did was the interchangeable is I made them weigh the troy ounce, but the gold content reflected like it was 80% on the 10th and 20th of an
Right.
ounce, and it was like 12% on the half and quarter, I don't know what it was, and then 9% on the 1 ounce. But when I was in business, we continually bought and sold them at their face value. Of course, I was
Right.
and it worked. It would work. It didn't work. It didn't work because of me, not because of the principles. So, and that's not funny, but that's all. That's how I have to deal with it now. So, but that's. I'm not opposed to governments if they legitimately provide the populace with sound money. They certainly are entitled to what sonorage is, and that sonorage is the difference between the actual cost. For example, when we minted silver coins, this is platinum, but when we minted silver coins way back when, and these silver coins are also made with the alloy that these are hard coins. These aren't 100% silver. This is what the old silver dollars were made out of, and they're a circulating coin. But what happened is the United States, and it was largely done. You have very strong, and you still have strong silver interests in the country right now. But the silver interests, they said, well, we'll bring you our silver, and then you put I forgot what the ratio was, but the silver content in relationship to what was pegged in gold was substantially different. So there was a very nice called seigniorage but if you brought one of these in, you could redeem it for gold too.
Right.
And that was the key. And so there was a float there because coins disappeared, they lose some, they hoarded some. And that's a legitimate function and service that government can provide for its people without taxation. And so I'm not opposed to that at all. I think it's a legitimate way. I mean, I am very much opposed. I don't think any man's work, no man's labor should be taxed. I mean, and that, of course, that went hand in hand when we created the central bank with the Federal Reserve. But all of these things, look, the way I teach is the three greatest swindles in the history of mankind are inflation, number one, entitlements, number two, and regulation, number three. And, it's been the history, it's multi-generation, it's much larger than the business cycle. We are reaping now 4 generations of this crap. And hopefully we can learn this for a bet, and maybe it's just impossible to learn it more than a generation, but it seems like you get it for a little while and then it just deteriorates from there. And I get that because that is the nature. We're human beings. We still, the way I define it, we still are we live in a sinful world and we are sinful. And incapable of change, except from without. So, but that's my view. I come at people from, a Christian point of view, hopefully a scholarly one, and not one where I'm telling you what Jesus did in my heart and all this kind of stuff, because that's not what it's about. Yeah, it changes hearts, but there is, uh, John says, in the beginning was the logic, the logos, and there we are in His image, and we're able to we're unique. We're communicating together right now, and that's unique among all the species. That we're created in an image that's different from everything else, and if we can recognize that, then I think that's a step in the right direction. So, at any rate, I don't know. I want to make this kind of regular. I was going to say, do you have your collection out there that you can show us? Do you have a display?
Well, on this Gold Standard Corporations, because I'll tell you, what's interesting is that, you mentioned Engelhard, right? They made some of your coins to you. Have you ever seen the I think it was 76 to 81 that Engelhard and Mate made these the beavers?
Yeah, Johnson.
Have you seen
the beavers? Yeah.
The bee caster beavers? They were right at the same time as you, and I collect those as well.
Well, as far as I know, I was the first one to decimalize the troy ounce, because.
Can I tell you? I'm sure that you and Engelhard and Mate Johnson Mallory, right afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
you realize that right afterwards the first Krugerrands came out.
No, the
first Maples came out.
Well, actually, I have a lot of stories on that. And they actually came and visited me and wanted to buy me out.
Who did?
It was called Intergold, which is the quasi South African.
That's on the Johnson Mate Beaver rounds. It says Intergold.
Right. Well, they were the South African front, and they wanted to basically buy me out, and anyway, some strange things happened with all that.
Do you want me?
But they came out with the baby wren, which is some real
baby
way,
wren,
right? And they didn't get it. I said, no, this is wrong. You need to decimalize the troy ounce, and that's what we need. Right. And so I am advocating right now. I think we need to decimalize. It's time. I don't think it was right until now. But for the first time, I think we can start thinking about decimalizing Bitcoin, and you do that simply by moving 2 decimal places over from the Satoshi, and make that the standard. And to me, the only appropriate name is Hayek called it back in 1986. I found the article where he did. They actually put one of my silver coins on that article, but he nailed it. He said, there's going to be one, because when I first got into Bitcoin, I thought there would be competing standards, and then I realized it wasn't. And really digging out that article and reading his work, and I saw that he didn't either. I said, yeah, he's right. And the theory, I think the practice is now confirming that theory. Also, and I think Stefan has noticed this with me. He says, well, you're really not a Bitcoiner anymore. I said, well, no, I am, but I'm a sound money. I'm a sound money advocate.
Always have been.
Always have been. So Bitcoin is sound money, but gold is also sound money. I don't see the contradiction. In fact, I think one is a tremendous and great check, and one can actually be the governor of the other. So in that sense, I don't like to see the less. I think the real decision making is going to be up to us hodlers. Where do we choose to have jurisdiction? That's going to be our power, and you don't want to expose yourself. I'm not ready to give up my exposure in the United States. If they want to come and get me, that's fine. I'm here in Mexico. They got extradition. They can get me. But I don't want to get caught in the. I don't want to get.
My wife's over here. She's been
Oh,
mowing the lawn.
bring her on.
Tell her she doesn't want to come say hello.
Okay, we need the goat lady don't like, but bring her. She she can meet the goat lady.
The one thing I want to say is that this is besides the art and the beauty and the theories of your coins, probably the most significant contribution is that's right. You decimalized the troy ounce, and literally, as soon as you got
You don't understand the innovation, how hard, because everybody thought it should be grams. Nobody understood the thinking at the time.
Right. And so right afterwards, like what happened? The maple in troy ounce, the American eagle in troy ounce, all of that came right after you.
Exactly. Look at what, this is Ron Paul. This is when you try and get government involved, you get this crap. I can't believe it. I went for this, guys. I was part of it. Do I own up to this now? I don't know. There's no need for it. It's okay if the government does, but we were trying to force the gold standard back on the government rather than, what? Bitcoin's given us such a powerful tool. It's incredible. And you want to bring sound money back. You want to bring the gold standard back. Bitcoins it's the strongest tool that we have. And as a hodler, you're the strongest voice.
This one though, I have to disagree with you on this particular set because, this set, it's interesting what you tried to do here. You've got the Kennedy, which is a 1 troy ounce. You've got the Lincoln, which is and I can't pronounce the word, Avodopolis ounce.
Avodopoy. Avodopoy, I think is the way it's said.
Avodopoy.
Yeah, it's really weird.
Then the Jefferson and the Smith are in grams. So what you were saying here was, I'm not saying what should be the correct weight and measures. Here's something that gives you a choice.
Right. Yeah. But it was in response, it was a actual strike of a congressional act introduced to Congress by Ron Paul.
I thought there was a Congressman Gregg involved in it.
Might be. You know what? I thought, I'm sure Ron Paul was, I got to go find it. I saw it online. I got to do the homework again, or maybe somebody else can bring that out. So
it was the silver one that was another congressman. The gold could very well have been Ron Paul. I don't know, but the silver set that looks like this.
Oh, it is. Huh?
You had a silver set that looks like this.
Oh, could very well. Yeah. You know what?
It was called the Free Market Silver Coinage Act.
Okay. Look, I did some other things. When the Kansas City Royals won I did the silver coin of baseball. That was a big, but, what I would like to do, Mike, is I think we should create a new Telegram group that people that are interested in this, and so particularly for members. I don't think we could open it up to the public, but I want to do it especially for members. We have a very small member group, and I'm really not trying to build it because every time we get a new member, we kind of have to, they ask the same questions over. So we're trying to just move on. We don't, this is a work in progress. And rather, so we don't want to forget the past, but we also we want to be working on the future. And that's, that's where I'm at and a big believer in. So,
how much do you recommend, for example, though, having in, let's say, gold relative precious metals to Bitcoin? Do you think equal weight or much greater weight?
I just think the way I'm doing it is I got a few Mexican bullion coins because they'll be recognizable here.
Libertads?
Silver. Libertad, whatever they are. I don't know which ones I got, but I've got them. And I've got Mexican silver coins, because they're beautiful. Mexican coins,
beautiful.
Absolutely one of the most beautiful.
I collect those too.
And you know what? They go for a lot of times. They go for a
huge
discount.
Premiums.
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 Okay, because I was able to get them at one of the lowest prices. I can't even find them anymore. I can't find them because they're beautiful. But they mint them down here. You can buy them at some of the stores down here.
Yeah.
There's one, I forgot the name of the company, that one of the billionaires was a big silver bug, and so they make a regular market down here.
I think Salinas is his name. No.
Yeah, I think that's his name, and I forgot the name of this. He's got a whole wide variety of stores and a little merchant kind of banking thing down here. So, yeah, it's just. I don't have any problems with governments, like I say, minting coins, particularly if they have some intrinsic value, and give them a face value based on a gold standard. But I think we have to get the banking has to be free from government as much as possible. I don't know that it is possible, except you'll have different charters and different regulations in different jurisdictions. So in that sense, Bitcoin competes with the various jurisdictions. And yet you can be apart from that, which you didn't really have much of an escape clause before that. Gold was your best thing. So, I look for gold and silver coin to still be very useful, particularly among nations and maybe within nations even more than among nations. Now, it's possible that Bitcoin could grow among nations. That's possible. But I don't know that it would necessarily needs to. And I think the strength will be in individual hodlers, because I think that, I just thought of that while having this conversation. It's kind of like, my understanding of that user-activated soft fork, that basically Bitcoin showed that it was the users that ultimately control Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And in that sense, it's very important for users of Bitcoin to properly use their Bitcoin, because then we can, I think, have a huge say-so and really change the direction. But in that sense, it'll be an interesting conflict, because you can have people that they're going to be promoting Bitcoin because they want Bitcoin to go up rather than their own local economy to boom and prosper.
Right. It's sort of the same thing.
It's going to be a weird
division. Sort of the same thing we've been talking about with Peter Schiff, right?
Yeah.
That he can't let go of his...
I mean, it's going to be weird that I could actually be opposed to some Bitcoiners because they're, they're for Bitcoin simply because, I own a lot of Bitcoin, and so I want it to go up.
Right.
So, but isn't it more important that we have sound money within our nation and where we live? And so it's gonna be guys, it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be your argument, it's not mine. I
remember you saying last week, I think, or a video I was watching of yours, how the volatility that you see in Bitcoin is actually detrimental, though, to its usefulness. Because this weekend, right?
The thing is, Bitcoin is a wonderful speculation, but to go beyond that, to try and make an argument that it's useful cash, or that it's a store of value, that's ridiculous. And there's no reason. I mean, I'm still of the conviction. I don't know where it's going. Maybe it's going to follow Plan B and go to $1 million, but under the current way that everything is in the world, it's somewhere it's going to still have that 80 to 90% correction again.
Right.
And so, it's going to happen. And unless, we have these other mechanisms in place. This is the battleground. I mean, we're the forefront of this battle, and everybody has to. Hey, I respect something. You know what? I'm going to live or die in America. Okay, and I'm here for you. I'm not quite there. I think, but I'm certainly. I'm going to be making an announcement. I just finished an article. And it's going to be a radical. No, we can't. I got a big announcement that I'm going to be making that we hopefully you're going to shake the Bitcoin community in the. Anyway, I just.
But not now. It's not now. Is it now?
Huh?
Is the announcement now? No.
No.
Is your head on the block? Just for members. And then
Well, I could share. Okay, what we can do, because this is open to the public.
Yeah.
Okay, what do not share. What we can do is I can go share the.
You can put it unlisted.
No, I'll put it on the group, so only members can see. Now I'm going to put this on the members group. You can't let this out yet because it's written, but I haven't. You know, there might be some final edits.
That's all right.
But and
It's your draft.
you maybe show. No, that's not. That's not it, is it? Well, no, not that one. Go to the next. No, you got to go to hit my picture.
That's the one.
Okay, go to stories. Okay, that one right there.
Right. So you want me to post that on the group?
Yeah, point it on the group.
Do it without the edit.
Not. Yeah, you got to do the edit one. Wait.
No, without the edit, right?
No, put the edit on because they can't get it on. That's the only one that's available. I don't want to broadcast. I don't know how it works. Now I'm sharing it with you guys. Okay. But basically, yeah, I'm going to be.
You're almost saying it now, anyway.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna if we can swing it, I'm gonna make a public purchase of the INX tokens, which
Right.
will be that a very small purchase. Like guys, my first purchase of Bitcoin was $1,000 back in 2013. That's all I want to buy, but which is nothing back then. In 2013, and when August, $1,000, I didn't even have it in the bank. I did it with check overdraft. I had nothing, but now $1,000, you know, is
Negligible.
very negligible. But I do want to speak, and the reasons are written in that article. And I don't want to go into that now. We're going to do a show on that one. But I'm really focused on you, man, and what you've done. And I want to continue the dialogue over time, more and more. You'll be able, you'll figure me out. You can. I'm malleable. I'm manipulatable.
Well, I have a lot of questions for you. It could take months before I got all the questions that I'd like to ask you.
Yeah, and I want
finished.
you to, and you're the perfect guy to do it. So because you, for some reason you've decided to collect this, and for some reason I'm here, and I was a pioneer in sound money, and I can't ever get away
Right.
from it because I nailed it in gold, and now I got to.
Show the same.
I tell the story.
You're a
Warts
pioneer.
Warts and all.
This is a real. Honestly, it's a privilege because I've always viewed you as a pioneer. Like I said, the decimalization of the troy ounce, that's Conrad Braun, and every major government of the world followed in your footsteps from what you created.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. No, I know.
And so obviously you had that instinct then for what was coming. And so I'm sure that instinct, you still have that instinct. And so I'm sure we can all benefit from, your insights, instincts, and intuition.
Well, maybe.
Well said.
I hope it's been deduced from people far greater intellect than I am, and of course, like all I can do is refer people to the people that taught me and who are the greatest influences in my life, and they're all in gold, and they
Just gold or gold and and crypto too?
No, they're all. I minted them in gold. I know, not in crypto. No. Incidentally, what do they call this? You're familiar with this? What NFTs?
NFTs.
This is the real NFTs, guys. These are. You know what? The rest of it's phony. You want to do something that really has a potential for future value, and it's going to be any of my coins.
Right.
I mean, again, because everything that was in the vaults was melted down. And you know what? We had a perfect inventory. I never saw the inventory.
I want to tell you something. There's an interesting point here about, let's say, coins or rare metals. I mean, I'm not taking rounds, okay? Because metal, I don't mean rare metal like rhodium or something like that. Medallions, rounds, whatever you want. Okay. There's two components. There's two components into the price because these are art on a gold canvas, right? The fact is that you have the canvas, which has a value that's posted every minute, 24 hours a day. That's the value of a troy ounce of gold or a fractional ounce of gold. But then you've got the artwork and the rarity of that artwork that's on that canvas.
Yeah.
Look,
I think there's I'll tell you, there's another competing thing that you might want to do, and I would recommend.
Mm-hmm.
And I only have one, but there was way back when, I don't know if you're familiar with the Cassicius.
No.
Yeah. Well, there's a fellow, and there's a big history. In fact, since you would be the perfect guy to write the history of it, and you could really become well known.
How do you spell it?
Cassicius. I'm not sure.
I think it's CAECE.
But what the guy did is he actually minted. I think they were brass tokens. I have one. I'll bring it on and show it to you. But he actually put a Bitcoin on the Cassicius, and so exist where you actually have so now at the time that I bought mine, I think Bitcoin was about $200 or $250. I paid twice the price of Bitcoin to get it, and of course now the Bitcoin alone's worth it's like 50 or 50,000. I guess we dropped last night, but
54, I think it bounced a little bit off the low.
So
these things, can I tell you, I'm going to tell you something honestly, right? When I first started buying your rounds, I could get them virtually at spot.
Oh, I know. You can buy them for under. I know spot because people they don't want them. They didn't know what they were. It could have changed.
But now
you might be able to find some. I say you might be able to find some somewhere that are out there, and people, well, what's this? But particularly if they're in somebody's estate.
There was a guy just before I sold that whole bunch to you, guy in Texas, who bought just before he bought a hardwood from me, a platinum hardwood and a gold hardwood, and he paid a lot more for them than I sold them to you for. And then he came back before. I'm an honorable person. He came back after we had talked and you said you were interested in these things and he wanted to buy some other pieces. And even though, I knew I could probably sell them for a lot more. I mean, this was an opportunity to be with the creator,
Well, the creator definitely believed in what I did. But I wasn't the right guy to carry it out, and I don't know, there shouldn't be any right guy, that's the whole thing. But I think maybe it can be done, and I think, and I want to encourage it to be done. And as much as I can, I would love to be part of it. So that's where I'm at.
Why don't you mint some more, though? Mint some new ones.
Well,
mint some new coins. I'm telling you, there's a real, I don't know about your following as far as YouTube and everything else, but as far as your rounds.
I remember how much, that was all of these things when we get into it, if we knew how much work it was, we wouldn't have done it again. And that was a lot. So I've got so much on my plate now, but there'd be no reason why one shouldn't. It's just, it's not, in bullion, it's a very high volume, small margin business. So it's you have to be devoted to that, and it's not easy. So
the next time, though, instead of putting Hayek or Harvard on there, you put your face on there.
No.
And I guarantee you big premiums.
No, I don't think
That'll huge premiums.
Wait, we can put the ugly old ghost face on it, maybe, but not.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good one, too, actually.
But that would not be the collector's piece. That would be like, okay, here's the latest one. It'd be like, what's the name of that mint? There's a New York stock company, some kind of mint that made all those and they sold them way over. What was the name of that company? It's actually traded on the New York Stock Exchange.
I don't know.
That's some
Government? No.
Huh?
Government?
No, some kind of mint that, they create things that sell way over spot and they're bad.
Can I tell you, there's a few crazy ones like that.
And they're not made for money. And that would be more along that line. The real the real deal are these, because that's history and done, and not some new thing that I'm trying to
Right.
mint and create. I'm done with that. I think I've done, I'm done with minting gold coins. So,
well, that's a shame.
No, I don't think it's a shame. I'm not opposed to someone else doing it, and it's, at any rate, I'll leave it at that.
Okay, hold on one second. Honey, can you let Brady in? He's sitting at the gate. Thank you. One of my dogs is at the gate. He wants to come in. Now, I'll tell you, if you want at some point in the future, because, I do collect real oddball stuff. I certainly would be happy to pull some stuff out and show you and show the followers. I got to tell you, for your partner over there, I know he's from the UK area. There's an old oil rig that's out in the English Channel that is now its own country. It's called the Principality of Sea Land, and all is an oil rig. And they issue their own gold and silver coins.
Oh, wow.
And they have a king and queen of the oil rig. And the coins are unbelievable. It's like there was a coup. Some guy flew in a helicopter and he wanted to take over the country, the Principality of Sea Land, and they were far. And there's a gold coin. There's a big gold coin that commemorates the coup against the Principality of Sea Land.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but that's kind of a take between virtual reality now and reality. And when I was doing it was not that kind of a thing. I'm dead serious about this, and so that's I don't want to diminish the idea behind sound money, and that could I'm not opposed. Anything like that's fun and stuff like that, but I think seigniorage is going to be a very great topic to be addressed in this coming transition that we're having. So I'm sure there's going to be a wide diversity of opinion. In fact, even the term seigniorage in economics.
What do you mean exactly by?
Well, it's changed a lot. But it used to be the difference between my view is the difference between the face value and intrinsic value of a coin.
Okay.
And that's
I see.
So that's the seigniorage, and that's the right of the issuer, or in that case, the king, because that's his privilege. He provides a standard, and the profit from the seigniorage is the king's profit. But it's a way that you're providing a service, which is a sound standard for a certain jurisdiction boundaries, and being paid for it without taxation, and so to me it's a very legitimate form of government revenue that they provide that service. Of course, what happens is they inflate, because then they issue charters other things, and they inflate, and then they diminish even that face value. I mean, you got to remember, there was a day, I don't have a silver dollar, but the old Morgan silver dollars, and there was a day when the silver content was just, I don't know what percentage, very small, 16-1. So the difference between that, it was a big benefit for the silver interests in Idaho, which they lobbied for it. say, well, we bring the silver to you, you mint these dollars, and suddenly they're worth,
Right.
it's gold because it's redeemable in gold. So
Right.
and if you remember back in, how old are you?
59.
59. Okay, well, I'm 71, so you may remember when they actually had futures. I don't know. I'm sure they don't have them anymore, but you had bags of silver dollar futures contracts,
Right.
where you buy these junk silver bags full of old, well-used Morgan dollars.
They
And
still sell
they still, oh yeah, and they were legal tender, and people would, that was. And they actually had futures on them. But the reason there was such an I mean, I remember the days I went to the Seattle World's Fair, I think it was back 1962 or something. I was like 13 years old or something. And we went through Vegas then. And back then, Vegas, it was all silver dollars and silver dimes and silver quarters. And, I had penny slots, and it was copper pennies. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't old enough but we saw it, even though we didn't participate because I was 13 at the time. But and then later on, I think even when I was in my 20s, I don't know when. I don't know when that converted over, but the point is, that's why we had this big glut of silver coins, because the government was required to buy the silver and mint so many, whether they needed them or not. In other words,
Right.
It wasn't a marketplace demand. And so that's what happens whenever you have, I mean, look, any kind of regulation, and there's not one example that I found an exception to. They all have consequences, unintended consequences. And that was one of them that, we had this big silver glut because the United States had to buy all the silver. They had more silver coins than, you don't, why would you want a silver coin when you don't need one? Because anytime you want, you can turn it in for gold.
Right.
It's just convenience is what it is. And
Right.
And as I say, as far as remittances and cash, I think that's going to be resolved, and it'll be resolved off chain, and it'll be resolved in the local jurisdictions, and it may or may not involve governments, but it certainly can be done more efficiently. It doesn't need a blockchain to do it. And so the Bitcoin standard can actually be also Bitcoin substitutes. And to some degree, that's any time that I have Bitcoin on an exchange, because I do trade things, that's what I'm doing. I'm agreeing to follow those rules under that jurisdiction.
Right.
I said, and if there's a tax due, I pay it. I'm playing by your rules. Thank you for letting me play. Let me tip my hat to you. You don't disrespect the government. The key is you don't have to play. You don't have to be, I don't have to have my one foot in the United States if I don't want to. But I do. I still have, 1 foot there. I still have a bank account there. I don't live there. You can structure things so you're much freer, and you're not locked in. And right now, it's a very scary time in our country because we've lost a lot of what we once had, and it's going to take. I'm optimistic that we may be able to get it back, but it's going to take time. It's going to take a long time. It's not going to be easy, guys. And in the meantime, you want to take the precautions. So I feel like I'm much more effective being here where I am now. And, I almost look at it as being, I feel like perhaps I'm the first station of a new underground railway, because that's how bad I think, my country is in right now. I hope I'm wrong. I really do, guys. I'm not rooting for the demise of the United States. I want to see liberty restored. I want to see my nation prosper.
Well, I'll tell you, I grew up in New York. I was always a city boy. Moved to London. Most of my business career was in London, not Ontario, but in London, England. But now, I mean, we're kind of kindred spirits there. I mean, I haven't left the country, but from my history, I live now in rural Alabama.
I was going to
I
ask
live-
you. I'm so glad because I wanted to talk about it because I've known people from. See, he certainly doesn't talk
Nah,
Alabama.
No, I'm a
Or
New Yorker
Georgia.
who now lives on 40 acres out the end of a 5-mile dirt road in the
Cool.
middle of nowhere.
Oh, cool.
And we grow most of our own food. If we had to, we don't have to now. We don't, but if we had to, there's plenty of deer here. There's turkey. There's wild boar. I mean, I'm in agreement with you. I think we're in a very sorry state. I think you have to be. I wouldn't call myself a prepper, so to speak, but I mean, I'm really quite pessimistic, and I just think you have to be as self-reliant as you possibly can at this
Yeah.
time.
And let me explain to you my position because I think I'm just becoming more clear, and you're helping me make it clearer. I am mainly an expatriate looking to come back.
Right.
Okay. Whereas I think a lot of people are, wow, I'm stuck here. I better take some precautions here. Okay.
Right.
So I'm rooting for you, you know, and I'm here for you. But I want to be where I'm at, and I think for good reason, and hopefully I'm wrong.
Well, Baja's a beautiful place, though. You know, you're not doing.
Oh
you know,
yeah,
you
no,
chose a
I
good
love,
spot.
and you know what? We have more freedom here. Although you have 40 acres, I can bring I don't think you want my machines running around your 40 acres. I actually have a cousin that he's got 40 acres out there somewhere where they've made it into their own private. Yeah,
Private what? Into a private what?
racetrack.
Racetrack.
Right. In other words, it's kind of, you know, Mexico, you don't need to have, although I've been looking to get a ranch down here. There's no reason why you shouldn't. But yeah, having a land doesn't hurt anything.
Oh, this is land not for the sake of having land. We have orchards of blueberries, peaches,
Oh,
plums, apples, pears. It's a point of
Well,
self-reliance.
Can I invite the goat lady and I to come? Maybe I will keep coming across to the U.S. But
You are all you we have you're
man,
plenty of room here
I
for
would
you. You're always
love to come
welcome.
visit you. That sounds really good.
So you know, I mean, it's definitely a change. It's been a big change for me. It's a change of life, but I just think you know, I mean, it's like you
Yeah,
said,
I'm getting to the age, you know,
pessimistic.
59. There's a big difference, and you'll find out. To me, at least, there's a big difference between 59 and 71. So the last year or two, I've started to feel the age. Before, I've never really felt it, but this year, you know, it's kicking in, and you know, I relate to Henry Hazlitt now. Although I'm not haven't reached where he was when I met him, but you know, it.
Well, you don't look it, and even
Well, I
though
still
Henry
got my
Hazlitt-
hair, you know, so I'm better than Tone Days when it comes to that.
you know, even though Henry Hazlitt, he looks like a bit like an old scarecrow on the coin. It's still a beautiful coin. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
you
is,
know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He should still be flattered.
Yeah. Well, and the other people, and all the people that were on the coins, people that were my mentors at the time. I think I did one with Jim Blanchard, Nicholas Deek, Jerome Smith, and that's where I was at, guys. You know, that's where I was at the time. Somehow, you know, I've survived and outlived a lot of these guys, and
Yeah.
so now I can kind of pass on the stories I have, and you guys are going to take it to wherever we're going. But the Sound Money movement is really a great story, and it's really the relevant story right now and for this generation. And so I hope it's a big lesson that's learned, and you know, we'll see if it is. And because, you know, we can go back. I think a lot of people go back to 1971, but they have a hard time going back farther when it really all started, and
Right.
where, you know, that it actually did emerge from a new innovation that grew out of the marketplace, and then it almost it's almost immediately got perverted. I forgot what was it, the Haight-Ashbury incident where they said, yeah, there was, you know, you have this little utopia for about 15 minutes and then it all deteriorates from there. So But I'm not looking for utopia. You know, that's the mistake that I think people make. So, all right.
Well,
Man,
we'll make our own. We make our own little utopia. You know, I mean, I built mine out here. I just go outside, walk my 4 dogs, look at everything's green and growing,
yeah,
and that's
it's a
that's
happy
my
place
little
for dogs.
utopia.
Yeah, it's a. You have horses? You have any horses?
No,
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 no
no,
horses.
no,
Okay,
no.
but it's
But I do have. You know, I don't know how far you want to go today, but you know, I do have some. I'd certainly love to share. You know, more. You know, talk about coins specifically and gold. But I have some big questions for you, bigger
yeah.
theoretical
Go for it.
questions.
You know what? I'm an old guy. I'm going to go pee and get some coffee, and then we'll come back and do that. So let's take we'll take a little pee break here and come back maybe in 3 minutes. How's that?
Oh, okay. Well, do you want to do it another day too? It's
No, no,
fine.
no. Let's go. We're going to roll. Let's do it. I'm enjoying this as you are. You know,
Yeah,
so
sure. I'm good.
okay. I just I'm gonna get some coffee and.
Yeah, carry on.
All right. You can keep on, or you can just start, and I'll come.
No,
back.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go pull some coins out to show you.
Okay, that'd be great.
Brilliant,
All right.
brilliant.
All right.
Back in a second. Pour the coffee.
Okay, I'm back, guys. This is really something. I don't know if anybody's listening or not, but I think that Mike is going to be able to pull some things out of me over time because we already did. I just so I'm excited about this. I'm really enjoying it, and just see where it goes. So that's it. Yeah, I probably need to heat that up a little bit more. Hang on. Well, nobody's here. Let me heat this up a little more. I got it. Oh.
You're still alive. I got 10 people. There he is.
All right.
I'm here.
Yep, me too.
Okay. So first, I gotta tell you, my wife's giving me 15 minutes. Then I'm supposed to go do chores with her.
All right. That's
Okay.
important.
So first, I want to show you something, and then I want to ask you my theoretical question. So,
Yep.
okay, I'm going to show you this. Can you see that real good? Okay. There you go. Well, I'm not good at this YouTube thing. Why can't you see it? Oh, there it is.
There you are.
Okay. This came out of a safe deposit box that was about 30 years old. It was sold at auction from the safe deposit box. Okay, so it came in this thing. Then it has this leather case, this kind of leather case in front of it. There it is. And inside this thing, the beavers.
Wow, beautiful.
This one is here. This is amazing. This is Intergold, right?
Yeah.
Watch. See? Oh, I'm so
I can't
bad
see
at
it. We
this.
can't see that one yet. There you go. Oh wow, there is a
5-ounce
5
gold.
ounce. There's a 5-ounce cake. Wow.
5 ounce. And look,
Wow.
see at the top, Intergold Canada. The company
Okay,
that tried to
Intergold
buy
Canada.
you.
Yeah, Intergold was also probably South Africa. Intergold's kind of England. Whoever that family is whoever Goldfinger is basically who it is.
Right. So this was a whole set. This is 5 ounce, then the 1 ounce, and then on the other side of this thing.
And you've been shopping. A lot of this stuff you've been able to buy right at spot, right? Or not?
Yeah,
No.
this I bought when gold was low. And then look,
Yeah.
the other side. Oh, why can't I do it now?
There we are. A bit up. There we are.
Yeah.
There's the 2 ounce.
Wow. Okay.
So it came with a 5, a 2, a 1, and then the fractionals.
There we are.
Okay.
This is these guys, Johnson Mate, Engelhard, and you were the 3 forerunners that basically inspired all the mints of the world, Royal Canadian Mint, U.S. Mint, to start producing.
And I was the first. I know I
Decimalized
was the first to
troy-ounce
decimalize the ounce. Nobody else did it before me.
But you and I would say that, you obviously were working with Engelhard too.
Right. I was working with, they actually, I
Right,
was
so-
not the refiner. They were actually the refiner. I was actually hired them because I had this vision. But
Right.
they had they didn't have the vision. They had the actual production crew, which is more important than the vision. That's what we're trying to build down here now. We're building a production crew, but very small.
This is one of the Johnson. This is one of the. I'm telling you, I can't really get good picture of it.
No, it's hard. It's hard.
I can't get good pictures of it. But 1, 2. Oh yeah, this is a beauty. This is a Daniel Carr. He bought the presses from the Denver Mint,
Okay.
and this is Pikes Peak with the wheat in front of
What year
it.
did he buy those presses? I think I remember that now that you mention it.
I don't know, but it's Moonlight Mint, and he produces some beautiful, beautiful pieces.
Okay. When did he start minting? What was his first minting year?
The early 2000s.
Okay.
But this is what I want to ask you, all right, after the pee break and everything. So, okay. Then there's an argument that the price of gold is not really reflecting the scarcity of the metal or the value of the metal, that the futures market is so highly leveraged, meaning that there's supposedly over 100 ounces of gold ownership through paper than there is actually physical gold backing it. And that the fact is that since an infinite amount of futures contracts can be created, as long as investors that hold those contracts don't require delivery. In fact, something that's scarce like physical gold or silver or even Bitcoin, its price can be managed and contained by investors investing in futures contracts, paper contracts, rather than the actual thing itself. Remember I told you that I had taken a position in Ethereum, but not really Ethereum?
Yeah.
It was a stock ETF that just tracks Ethereum.
I got it. Yeah.
Okay. So many would argue that the price of gold for 20, 30 years has been managed because the the amount of paper gold that exists far outweighs the amount of real gold, and that as long as customers, that clients, holders of that paper gold, don't demand delivery of it, the price can be, that paper gold can be infinitely issued, like paper dollar, like fiat money.
I've addressed that in our group, and I've addressed it in other places. I don't subscribe to that whatsoever because I'm familiar with the futures market and why a futures market exists. And so I know that that's not true in the futures market. In fact, the fact that deliverable futures is what makes it legitimate and honest. So it's not that, and that was made clear when the Hunts, were cornering the silver market. They didn't realize that there was a whole supply of silver out there sitting on people's fireplaces, mantles. It just took about 6 weeks for the refiners, by bidding up the prices, it came off the shelves, and the refiners were able to meet all the demand. What we don't have in Bitcoin, and I don't think we'll ever even will have, and not sure that we certainly, I don't think, need it, and that is, I don't think we have a legitimate Bitcoin futures because there's none that are deliverable. The closest thing you have is this thing that they've created on the Chicago Mercantile, which is their certificate. It's not Bitcoin. Now, there's a promise that if you go through certain brokers to say, well, we'll eventually be able to do that, but now it's not clear. It's not a contract specification. It's not clear, and it's not there. And to me, it's if they ever do that, that's they're not deliverable contracts on Bitcoin.
Right.
So
that's the problem.
It's possible to happen.
Right?
It's more likely to happen on. Go ahead.
If people invest in that non-deliverable contract instead of buying Bitcoin
it's going to go at a discount. It will go at a discount.
Right.
You're already seeing that. You're already seeing that for a time, and this is part of the article that I have not published yet that you guys can look at. But part of that is why you're seeing the GBTC going to a discount now.
Right, huge discount.
Right, because it's not Bitcoin, and so people are starting to wake up. Wow, this is not, and it's very vulnerable. And this is okay. This is what people are waking up to. And it never was. And the same thing with the Chicago, it's not Bitcoin, guys. Now maybe they'll make it so you can get out. Maybe your particular broker will figure it out. But, I think it's Interactive Brokers said they were going to offer it, but to the best of my knowledge, they haven't yet. So this is all new material. But no, do I subscribe that the gold price, is manipulated? It can be short-term manipulated, but that's it. And no, it's not. Over the long run, gold is accurately reflected. It's not the crisis right now is not people are scared of the money. They're scared. They want to make their monthly mortgage payment. Either that or drop out of the system, or they're more concerned about rising food prices, or lumber prices have tripled. So gold is a store of value. It's not going to make you wealthy. Now, one thing that I'm doing is I think the future is, collateralizing other assets with Bitcoin. And, just look, I can buy 6 times the amount of gold today than I could last summer with my HODL.
It amazes me. I just got to say this. It amazes me that you were able to buy whatever was 12 ounces of gold or whatever and precious metals from me for 1/3 of a Bitcoin a couple of weeks ago.
Yes. And it cost me, it was a lot cheaper buying it when I did, because I didn't start doing it till Bitcoin went over 20,000 and stayed there. I said, you know what? I don't mind owning some gold now, and I got I got other things that I'm looking to purchase, but I said but the Bitcoin's got to go up there. Okay, you guys want to let me go some of my Bitcoin? I will. That's what hodling is about.
Right. I mean, it was 60
it's
grand,
not,
I think.
Guys, it's not a store of value, because if you haven't, like I say, the big test is coming over all the guys that are jumping in this market now. I'm not saying we're not going to $1 million, But if you go to $1 million and then drop down to 100,000, that's going to be something you haven't experienced before. Or just think, we went to 60. What if we go back down to
10.
be like going back down to 8 or 10, which I don't
Right.
think, but certainly, we don't know.
But
And
do you
so
think
you
so? You don't.
you trade accordingly, and money management is everything. And I feel very comfortable. I have taken the, I mean, I have my hodl. I splurge on the goat lady. What the goat lady wants, she gets. I have a 9-year-old daughter who, allow me to spoil her because it's my joy,
Nice.
Maybe I'm selfishly ignoring the consequences. I hope not. But so, but that's my joy in life now. The cars are my joy. Collecting I'm doing this because I want to be doing it. I'm doing this show because I want to be doing it. That's my builder. This is my saver, and my builder is this website talking to you right now. I have my hodl. You know what? I don't have to be the richest guy in the cemetery. I
No.
can lose all of my Bitcoin right now, and everybody in my life I've taken care of. They're either made it on their own and responsible. I don't have to worry about it. My grown sons, I'm proud of all 3 of them. My wife is, we lose all the Bitcoin she's provided for. And that's really my only responsibility. And so that being said, now I can do, and I have the freedom to put time and devote my thinking to those things that is my specialty. I don't expect everybody I have a unique background. It just is.
Right. That's true.
I mean, I didn't know it was going to happen. I'm sitting here, all this stuff,
Well, it's quite clear. I mean, look, where you were in the 70s and what you tried to accomplish, and the idea that you had. Well, I mean, look, 30 years, 50, 40 years later, you see it again through Bitcoin, right? You're there early. You're there on the ground floor.
Right. And now I'm getting a little bit of flack but you identified it. I get criticized all the time. The last guy that I love criticizing me, he said I hide behind my hodl, and I don't. That was so thankful that you brought that up, because that nailed it, and you just nailed the important thing here. The issue is not Bitcoin. Bitcoin is sound money, but the issue is sound money. Right.
Right.
It's where do we get from A to B? We get sound money back, it's going to solve a lot of problems. You have sound money, you don't need Bitcoin.
Right.
But Bitcoin also acts as the governor, bring us back sound money. It's going to all work together, guys. And as hodlers, you're now the one that has control of where we go.
Right.
And
I mean,
it might be gold in your jurisdiction. Gold will be fine. It's okay. But don't think Bitcoin's not this miracle save all, yeah, I benefited from it. But you know what? I'm not one to saying that Bitcoin's necessarily the answer. But if something else is, you got to show me. You got to be the longest chain with proof of work. And you got to, I don't think people are making a case for competing standards, and I don't get it. I don't think there will be competing. I think maybe maybe the standard won't be Bitcoin, but I see nothing else. Then that's what it is. What it is. I mean, and
so
gold is what it is. You're not going to. Gold's not going to not be money overnight.
So the thing is, the overriding principle is what is sound money.
Exactly.
And then you think what is going to take us there.
Yeah, and I think that gold and Bitcoin are like, they dovetail each other. They really do. And if you don't, and I think that there's arrogance on the Bitcoin side, and there's also arrogance on the gold side. you just got to get rid of your arrogance. And so, you know what? There's a case to be made either way, and both ways, and they're not like hostile to each other. Sound money is not hostile to sound money.
Right, exactly.
It's just
Right.
not. Sound money is only hostile to the fiat, okay, and the control. And that's every time that you enter a jurisdiction, you're going to enter their regulation. And what I'm trying to make clear is it's the regulation that actually, in the case of gold, led to the inflation, which led to the entitlements. The regulation was they nationalized the gold standard and set a reserve, fractional reserve, that could be inflated upon. And then they nationalized it and national banked it. And you got to get that, guys. So as hodlers, we are now, and I don't understand the back end of Bitcoin. The guys really do, but I get some of the principles, and one of them is that USHF, user activated soft fork. It showed Bitcoin sound money because it's the users that activated it.
And miners in this case, but yeah.
Yeah, and well, it was the.
I'm not sure.
Okay, miners are also users. They're part of the miners. That's okay, but it wasn't a group. It wasn't the corporate structure that did it. It was. I mean, the nodes served a function.
Right. Yeah. They signaled.
And
so, I'm sorry. So, I think the thing is, though, the question I have is, so those sponsors of the fiat system, the ones who have, benefit the most from it, which are, the powers that be, are they ever going to allow sound money?
We don't know.
Or do they have no choice? Is it coming regardless?
I don't think they're gonna. It's going to be. Look, governments are not isolated from the people. They just reflect slowly a society. You cannot say that a government does not reflect your society. It doesn't. It's not that. It may not reflect you. Okay, and you may, but it does reflect your society.
Well, I'm just wondering, doesn't government necessarily reflect the money, the lobbyists, the money,
the
corporate,
that's right.
That supports it,
it's
right?
Right. So once you choose a jurisdiction, once you get rid of that hodl and you're going onto the on-ramp, okay, and there's different ways to get onto the on-ramp. I sell Bitcoin, I trade, and I sell it to live. I still live in the fiat world. I trade in pesos. I'm in pesos. I got an off-ramp in pesos and an on-ramp. I don't do the on-ramp. I'm a citizen of the U.S. I'm not a resident. I don't live in any state. I live in Mexico, okay? My wife is Mexican, She owns everything. That's fine, so I don't know. It's the jurisdiction. I haven't given up my citizenship. I have no intention to, but I do want to acquire other citizenship, at least Mexico and perhaps another. My age is not that important. I plan on, living the rest of my life and dying here in Baja. That's my choice, okay?
Yeah.
You've made your choice. I respect that, man.
I have UK citizenship as well, but I don't know if that's any better than
right, I get it.
Now,
right.
Respectfully.
Right. No, I get it. But you do have two.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's I think is an important step, and fight the battles in the United States. That's great. I'm on your side. I'm not against that. It's just you need to understand what's coming, and I do think that there's going to be severe restrictions on leaving the United States. I hope I'm wrong, but you know what? All the signs are there, and they built the kiosk. What is that movie? Build it and it shall come. That's what they've already done.
But the fact is, though, I think that's why I see where you're going with having just in principle without necessarily whether both are good or bad of having two, because in fact, I could leave the country because I could show my UK passport and they would have to let me out because I have another country, because I have
Exactly.
I wouldn't be leaving with my U.S. passport. I'd be leaving with my
Yeah.
UK
But they
passport.
might eventually shut that down, and so wherever you choose to domicile, you still want to have yourself well protected there. And I don't believe in a citadel relationship. I believe in a community relationship.
Right.
And I think that's far more important. I'm not here building a citadel, for, well, we're going to put a grand, because Bitcoin's a distributed network. We're all over the world, And
Right.
do we have to watch each other stack? Yes, yes. That's what I'm a little bit pissed off. We got we got Bitcoin for under indictment for BS, and where's the support for him, guys? And why am I alone on this? What are you missing that I get, or am I wrong?
Right.
I'm
Right.
sorry.
I understand. Okay. Well, sir, I'm supposed to go out and
Hey, it
do
was great. We're
my
gonna do this more.
do my chores.
Yeah, I get it. That's the right thing to be doing.
The
That's
fence,
what I
the,
should
the
do.
fence is falling. The fence is falling apart from the dogs climbing over the 4-foot fence to chase pickup trucks down and running down the dirt road.
All right. Well, I'm gonna
right.
have the goat lady watch this one because I think we probably be doing a trip to Alabama sometime.
And I would love to join you down there for the conference. I thank you very much for having me on, and I'm willing to do this anytime you guys would like.
Yeah, well, we're
I'm
going to
sure
do
we'll
it
have
a
you on
lot
again, Mike.
more.
It was a
And now,
pleasure.
now you're on, so anytime that you want to participate anyway, you can just kind of say, because that's what I want, and we're trying to just get a dialogue. And I'm going to be doing this new thing probably Tuesday if it's all set up.
Right.
I'm going to become a shit coiner. Oh, that should be that should be.
That's
great.
it.
But I
Shows the way.
outlined the reasons why, and that's where I'm going with this. And I really am so glad that we met. I again, my thing is, all I'm doing is kind of living a transparent life forever, a little longer, much longer it lasts. And one of the things that I'm doing now is with my Bitcoin, newly acquired wealth, I'm saving some of my prior work because I think that's valuable. I may be wrong, but I think you made a very wise investment by collecting gold standard coins. In
Well,
particular, gold standard.
it is factually correct because look where I am right now, talking to the man himself.
Well, you were the guy that I found it on eBay, and then because I hate eBay. I didn't want to buy anything in eBay, but when you do a Google search and those coins,
Right, it comes up.
You know what?
Right.
I can't even find a picture of the Friedman 5-piece. Have you even found a picture of it? It's in a beautiful wooden case. I know that.
The Friedman
Not the
5-piece
Von
set.
Mises, the Mises, Von Mises.
Oh no, not the Von Mises, but I do have a photo of the front and the back of the interchangeable series with the 5 coins.
Okay. Well, I'm
In the
looking
Capital
I'm
Plastics
looking for that
holder.
Von Mises piece and you said the mintage of that was 197.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, brother, you're gonna be fighting me for it because I don't have one.
Yeah, well, I figured that much. Well, the cat's out of the bag now. We just created. This is the new shit. My own shit coin. And then in limited supply and fully distributed. I wasn't even like Nakamoto. They took all. I had to go out in the market and buy some.
Well, look, I do promise you though, whenever I come in touch with more stuff, you and I can share the hoard. We'll figure it out. We'll both get us some more.
Well, I just want to kind of pass it on to my immediate family members. So this is what your dad and grandpa. This is what the ugly old goat was all about.
These are the fruits of your labor. I mean, you deserve to have them all.
Well, I'm enjoying it. I mean, I really am enjoying it, and pass on the little bit of what I hope I've learned. Any rate, so thanks for coming on, Mike. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to you coming down here in August. We're going to have a huge event, so it's just going to be, I think, blow everybody away. Yeah, if you can't talk to me, we'll figure out how to get things done down here too. So.
Sure.
And I have your number, and thank you for sharing your time with me, letting me come on
I've been
in.
looking
And
forward
like
to
I
this.
said,
I
anytime,
couldn't wait to
anytime
get the
I'm
coins.
available.
I said I wasn't going to do it till I had those coins. I want to make sure I had that coins because I said, now you guys, good luck. Go see if you can find some. It'll be a journey. Anytime you find some, go ahead and buy them. He gave me a great. I don't know what you sold these for like 25% over the gold price. It wasn't much.
Like I said, this guy in
25
Texas
or
paid,
25,
paid,
I don't
they
know,
paid a
but-
lot more. The guy in
But
Texas
you
paid
know
a
what?
lot
I
more.
really appreciate that because I know that this is. I know what they are, and I know the labor and love that went into it. So,
Well, I
and
know
how
I
rare
know,
they are. They are
I know,
rare.
I know the story. I know the beauty of them. Now I know the man, so they're even more valuable to me. And it doesn't matter. I'll tell you what, the ones that I have, that are mine, that are part of my collection. I'll just say this real quick: I would never sell because they're my art. They're part of my
you're
treasure.
A collector. People don't understand that what a collection is about, and someday that collection is really going to be
Worth
something. It really.
I
will
wanna
be.
say
It's something
one
that
more
you want to
thing.
preserve. That I want you to preserve. That I want. I'm honored that it's being preserved because that was the intent.
Right.
Right.
The intent was
And
not
I'll find
me,
more.
Okay, the intent was those who had honors.
Right. I'll say one more quick thing before I sign off. So NGC, they grade coins, as you know, PCGS. They don't grade rounds, and they don't like slab them. But ANACS, ANACS, they're based in Denver. They will slab rounds. I'm about to send your rounds here to be slabbed, graded. They'll be the only ones in the world ever in that condition.
All right, great.
So next time, hope in the near future, I'll bring those on. I'll show you them.
Well, in the
Graded,
day, I was a
preserved.
lifetime member of the Numismatic Association and got their book every month. I should see if I still can have that mailed to me because I was a lifetime member. I don't know what.
Oh, you get a discount from Annex then. They're in Denver. If you ever want to, instead, by the way, they didn't come in those capsules. I bought all the fitted capsules.
No, I know that.
For those.
No, I know you didn't. No, I
They
know
just
they
came.
didn't.
I just got them in flips.
Yep, that's how we sent them. We sent them in flips. Yep,
Right.
except some of the presets. Yeah.
All right, sir. You have a wonderful rest of the Sunday.
You too.
Thank you very
so
much
for coming on.
Thanks for coming on,
Well,
Michael.
this is just the beginning, guys. We'll be doing a lot more with Michael here, so I'm looking forward to it.
Have a great day.
Bye bye.
Bye.
All right, that went really well.